Presidente.
Dear President, dear President, dear friends, first of all I would like to congratulate the University and the Institute for organizing this conference. I believe that this issue of wars and divided cities and countries is unfortunately still today one of the, if not the most important problem the world is facing. And therefore free and in-depth discussion of these problems is indeed very useful and important. I will therefore divide my presentation in the 20 minutes of work in two parts. The first will be more general, speaking about the wars, and then I will of course refer to the negotiations that are currently taking place in Cyprus and which hopefully will lead to results. If we go back in history, I think we have to realize that in many ways wars have something in common, but they're also different. Starting from here in Italy, from the Hadrian War, we know that walls were built in those days to protect the so-called civilized world from the tribes that were attacking. And this attitude was generalized. I mean, in many ways, the China War, the Great China War, was similar to the Hadrian War. The intention was to protect a different way of thinking, behaving from tribes or people outside. Subsequently, in the Middle Ages, we see a complete change in this system. The walls are built not anymore between countries or areas or regions, but around cities in order to protect the cities from others who, for various, usually selfish reasons, in order if they're jealous of what the city has achieved and they want to try and take advantage of that, they try to attack the city. And this is why there are thousands of cities around the world with walls, which most of them, I would say nearly all of them, fortunately by today, they are very interesting tourist sites and not anymore fulfilling the role that they were originally built for. The possible only exception to this probably is Dubrovnik War. Even in today's world, Dubrovnik was saved because from the attacks by the Serbs because of this war. And they just could not get through the wall of Dubrovnik, which was built in the Middle Ages, but was still useful in today's world. So, coming now to the current world, from history to present situation, I say, in my opinion, we have to distinguish between two types of wars. The one is wars that have been and are imposed by one power on others. And we have several examples of that. One of the well-known examples is Cyprus. I will speak more about it later. But another example that we all know also is Israel. Israel, we all don't misunderstand me. I am in full support of the creation of Israel, of a Jewish state in Palestine. dead against the idea of such a state being built to the detriment of the inhabitants of Palestine for thousands of years to the Arab world. So the fact that we see today the insistence on the part of the Israeli government of not willing to recognize the creation of a Palestinian state is exactly the best illustration of what I want to point out to you, the fact that wars are the result of the imposition based on military power by one state or others. In the case of Israel, we know very well that the military strength of Israel is such that imposes its will. It's not a question of a free decision of the people. As a matter of fact, by the way, one of the reasons that they want to divide people is, and to build the wall, is because they say that if we are not having a wall, then demographically after 50 years, the majority will be Arabs. So we want to separate by force the people that used to live in that part of the world. Another case of a war being imposed by force is in the case of North Korea, where we know and we have events every day where they insist by military means to divide Korea in two and to protect, in their own minds, the North from the South. In many ways, the division of Korea today, North and South, is similar to the division of Germany as it was presented before in such an interesting way. And we, of course, hope that one day this will not be the case, but still today exists. So, in our world today, we have wars, and these are the real wars that are imposed by one country on others using means of force. We are the strong, this is what we want, this is what we will do. But then there are other kinds of wars where we have a legitimate state protecting itself from problems. The best example of that is the Mexico War. It's a war between the United States and essentially Central America. And what is the purpose of that war? Essentially is to protect America from the drug trafficking. It's not succeeding, that's another issue, because unfortunately there are many people on both sides of that war that are benefiting financially from the drug trade. However, if there was not the Mexican War, the situation would have been much worse. So this is a legitimate case of a war being built, a war through modern techniques, of course, not as it was done in the Middle Ages, in order to protect a country. And a similar case is that of the Moroccan War, where Morocco tried to protect itself from the attacks from Polisario from western, essentially the south of Morocco. So we have cases like that. With due respect to you, my dear President, I don't think that we can mix this up, the issue of wars, with the immigration issue. The immigration issue, because you refer to the Dubai case. Well, first of all, in Dubai, it's probably the only case where most of the people there were not poor, but very rich, English, French, American, Germans, Italians, trying to take advantage of the wealth of the Arab world. And now that we have the crisis, now they left. And when